We've got a new month arriving in a couple of days. As always, new releases are coming from Bull Moose, music, video, and more. With us to talk about them, Chris Brown, Mick Workhofen. Thanks for coming in. Good to have you as always.
Yeah, good to be here.
Let's start with a horror movie. It's called Skin-a-Marink. Yeah, you're laughing already, even though it's a horror movie.
It's a horror movie. It has a funny name, but it's actually, it's very, very scary.
In this house.
So it's a sort of like experimental elevated horror film, played at a bunch of small theaters, but has a bit of a cult reputation online because it's what I'll call an architectural horror movie. So in the same vein as Mark Danielewski's House of Leaves, it's about like waking up in your home and finding out that like there's no doors or windows, and then hallways are longer than they are supposed to be. So there's this like unsettlingness to your home as a place of safety, but now it's a place of chaos and terror. So,
and this is not a big budget thing. This is
it's a lower budget project, but it's very, very effective. It's evocative.
Movies better be. Or,
yeah, it's true. Yeah,
you bail on them real fast.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, let's talk about a new book that has a significant main connection. It's called Transelectric: My Life as a Cosmic Rock Star by Sidney Bullins. I've read part of it, Chris. I know you've read most or all of it.
Yep.
It strikes me as a really, really interesting story.
Oh, it's a fantastic book, and it's a great rock and roll memoir with the ups and downs of a music career, but also Sidney Bullins came out as a trans man at the age of 61, a little over 10 years ago. So there is, what does that feel like? And so I think it's really important that those of us who want to, cis folks who need to understand this better and what that experience is, also can learn a lot from the book. It's just fantastic.
You're right, though. Those personal or the parallel stories of the personal and the professional, and it's a fascinating, crazy rock and roll memoir, and that alone propels a great narrative. But then when you get the personal story as well, really interesting, and we're going to be talking to Sid about that book coming up in just the next few weeks here on 207.
How about that?
One more, yeah, it's going to be fun. One more new release. This is Magic the Gathering, Lord of the Rings crossover set. This is right up your alley, Mick.
This is right up my alley. So normally we wouldn't necessarily talk about a Magic the Gathering set, although it has been going strong, 30 years in the making in the collectible card biz. But this is really cool because they have been increasing their crossovers with other IPs like Transformers, Fortnite, Post Malone, and this is all Lord of the Rings cards.
Malone?
Post Malone, yeah. Post Malone has magic cards. But so what's cool about this is it's new art and interpretations of the stories that people either know from the Jackson movies or from the books, obviously. And there's a paratextual thing about it where this has the ring on it, but they also have a serialized one ring card, which is seeded into specific packs and is currently pre-selling. There's bounties up for $2 million. Like, it's a literal golden ticket. And so people who are even not into Magic the Gathering but are into collecting are trying to find the one ring. And it's interesting because, like, what if it gets opened in secret and is lost for hundreds of years? So there's a lot of
stream or something.
Yeah.
What, you have to kill the person who finds it.
You probably don't, yeah. So anyway.
Let's not go there. Let's not turn it into a horror movie.
If you read the book, that's all I'm talking about.
Before we go, we want to note a transition that is happening. Since 207 first went on the air, Bull Moose has been joining us. First, Chris, it was you and Brett Wickert for many, many years. Brett pulled back, and Mick, you stepped in, and now you're going to be leaving Bull Moose, and you won't be on 207 regularly. And we just want to thank you so much for all that you have brought to us in the way of fascinating releases that otherwise we wouldn't know about. And that's what we want people to do, is to get exposed to things that otherwise they wouldn't know about. So we owe you a big debt of gratitude.
I really appreciate it, and it's been really fun to share my love of misfit art and outsider movies and music. And if I can leave you, Rob, with anything, it's that embrace the weirdness. Like, the part of you that is embarrassed to like something, if you say you have a guilty pleasure, don't feel guilty. Embrace it. Like shout your story, because there's so much cool stuff out there, and there's no reason not to celebrate all of it.
We're delighted that you've been with us, and this is not necessarily the final time we see you. We'll hope you'll come back, maybe in some capacity. We'll see if we can figure something out. But thank you so much for everything.
Thank you.